Finding the value of trig functions at the angles 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. So if you didn't watch the video on the unit circle, stop right now and go back and watch it. What I'm going to point out here is that this is exactly the same. There is no difference. The thing that seems confusing here is that when you go to the angle pi over 2, there's no triangle formed. Remember how we're using reference angles? But the process is still exactly the same. So here's what I mean. When you say sine of, say, pi over 2, we know that the sine is y over r. And the unit circle, r is always 1. So all I do is I go to pi over 2, and I go to the point for pi over 2, and I grab the y value, which is 1, and I see that the sine of pi over 2 is 1. The cosine of pi over 2, cosine is x over r, and the unit circle, r is 1. And at pi over 2, we go look at the ordered pair, and we see that x is 0. So the cosine of pi over 2 is 0 over 1, which is 0. Now if I do the tangent of pi over 2, in the unit circle, tangent is y over x. And if I look at the ordered pair, the y value is 1 and the x value is 0. And we can't divide by 0. That means that the tangent of pi over 2 is undefined. And remember, when we do WAMAP, undefined is DNE, does not exist. So whatever point I grab, if it's 3 pi over 2 or pi, all I do is I look at the ordered pairs and grab the y or grab the x. Remember that r is 1 in the unit circle, and write out the ratio and simplify. Let's take an example with the cosecant, secant, and cotangent functions. Let's do the cosecant of 0 radians, or 0 degrees. We know that cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, and sine is y over r, so the cosecant is r over y. In the unit circle, r is 1, and if we go to the ordered pair and we grab the y, we're dividing by 0. This is undefined. If I said the secant of 0, secant is reciprocal of cosine, so it's r over x. Again, r is 1. If we look at x, it's 1, and 1 over 1 is 1. The cotangent of 0, cotangent is x over y, the reciprocal of tangent. And if we look at the ordered pair, the x is 1 and the y is 0. So the cotangent of 0 is undefined again. How about down here? Let's do we'll go sine cosine again. Let's do the sine of pi. The sine of pi, it's y over r. And if I look at the ordered pair at pi, y is 0 and r is 1, so it's 0. The cosine of pi, cosine is x over r, and x is -1 at that point. R is 1, and so we get -1. And how about the tangent of pi radians? Tangent is y over x, y is 0, x is -1, so the tangent of pi is 0. So it's just a matter of looking at the ordered pair, remembering what the ratios are, remembering that r is 1, making a ratio and simplifying.